A tariff, in its simplest form, is a tax levied on imported goods and services. For centuries, this instrument of trade policy has been a cornerstone of national economic strategy, wielded to protect domestic industries, generate revenue, and influence international relations. However, the application of tariffs is far from a simple economic equation. It is a complex and often controversial practice that creates a cascade of winners and losers, embodying the very tension between protectionism and free trade. While tariffs can serve legitimate strategic purposes, their long-term consequences often include higher consumer prices, trade wars, and a stifling of global economic efficiency. The primary historical and political rationale for imposing tariffs is the protection of domestic industries. Often referred to as import substitution industrialization, this strategy aims to shield fledgling or struggling domestic companies from foreign competition. By making imported goods more expensive, tariffs allow local producers to increase their market share, maintain higher prices, and safeguard domestic jobs. For example, a country seeking to build its own renewable energy sector might place tariffs on imported solar panels, giving its nascent manufacturers a chance to establish themselves without being immediately undercut by established international giants. Furthermore, tariffs are a source of government revenue, a function particularly important in the past and still relevant for many developing nations that may have less capacity to collect income or sales taxes. From a geopolitical perspective, tariffs can be used as a tool of foreign policy. They can serve as a punitive measure against nations engaged in unfair trade practices, such as dumping, selling goods abroad at a price below their market value at home, or providing excessive state subsidies to their industries. In this sense, tariffs are a lever to enforce trade agreements and protect intellectual property rights. They can also be used to apply pressure in diplomatic disputes unrelated to trade, making them an instrument of economic statecraft to achieve broader strategic goals. Despite these intended benefits, the economic drawbacks of tariffs are significant and widespread. The most immediate effect is that they function as a regressive tax on consumers. By increasing the cost of imports, tariffs force consumers to pay more for a wide range of goods, from electronics and clothing to basic materials like steel and aluminum, which raises production costs for downstream industries. This erosion of purchasing power disproportionately affects lower-income households, who spend a larger share of their earnings on traded goods. Moreover, tariffs often provoke retaliation. When one country raises tariffs on another's exports, the targeted country is likely to respond in kind, leading to a destructive cycle of a trade war. This escalation can devastate export-dependent industries, such as agriculture, within the initiating country. For instance, tariffs on foreign steel may protect steel jobs, but risk triggering retaliatory tariffs on agricultural exports, harming farmers and potentially leading to a net loss of employment. This retaliation undermines the very goal of protectionism and can fracture international alliances and supply chains that have been built over decades. Finally, tariffs distort market efficiency and can foster complacency. By insulating domestic companies from international competition, tariffs remove the incentive to innovate, increase productivity, and lower costs. Instead of becoming more competitive globally, protected industries may become less efficient, ultimately requiring perpetual government support. This hinders the principle of comparative advantage, where global wealth is maximized when each country specializes in producing goods and services for which it has a relative efficiency.